Right. Our next speaker is Angie Spiteri. In a few moments, you're going to see why she gets the nickname of Speedy. She's here to educate you on the 5 common productivity killers, how to overcome the problems of too much to do with too little time, a problem I think a lot of us face. Welcome, Angie.
Much. Hello, everyone. All right. 6 o'clock. You ready for the next one? Third one in. Here we go. Have you ever got to the end of the week? Let's get the remote happening first. Have you ever got to the end of the week and you know you've been running, like you've been really going through some things, churning some things out, but you get to the end of the week and you think to yourself, what the heck happened? Like, my to-do list hasn't even shrunk. It's just gotten longer. Or maybe you've got a case of the terrible twos. Too little time, too much to do, too many distractions, too little profit, working too hard. What I do is I show people how to get back an extra 10 hours a week. I mean, 10 hours a week is an extra 200 hours a year. It's not something to be sneezed at. If you had an extra 200 hours a year, would life be a little bit easier? Would there be a visible difference, maybe, to the results that you actually got? So most of the people I work with, they work really hard. They're usually rushing, they're stressed, they're lurching from one thing to the next. They basically just don't have enough time. Anybody in that boat at all? Anybody relate to that? A few hands up. Okay. So for the last 11 years, I've been working with loads and loads of people from every industry, every type of personality. I think I deserve an award just for that, working with all different personalities. And most people reclaim up to 2 hours a day, and they boost their productivity by up to 67%. It all depends on the starting point, of course, but they usually see a visible difference. And that's my point of difference with my business, I think, that stands me apart from my competitors, my methodology, and that when I've left you, when we're finished working with each other, there's a visible difference, not only in what you see, but also how you feel and the results that you're getting. So loads and loads of people, lots and lots of businesses over the last 11 years, people from all walks of life. Whoops-a-daisy. But what I find consistently is that most people aren't even aware that they're actually stealing their own time. And there's lots of reasons for that. But mostly it's the symptoms that they think that are causing them to lose time. But there's actually a step above that. So if I asked you what killed your productivity, what would be some of the things that you said? What would be some of the things you think that kill your productivity? Interruptions, yes, that's a big one. Another one? Email, another big one. That's probably the top 2. What else? Facebook, thank you for being honest. Anything else? Anything else? I often get told clients. Clients disrupt productivity. Definitely the phone, mobiles, you know, everything that pings must be answered. Oh, of course it does. Pardon? Yeah. Yep, so they do a bit of the job, but not all of the job. Yep, so you've got to go back and back and back. Yeah, that's a big productivity killer. So these are the 5 most common, and as I said, these are more the reason why we have all these other symptoms, the email, the interruptions, the not looking far enough to actually, or not sequencing far enough to actually do the whole job, etc. So you're ready to find out what they are? Yeah. One person is. Anybody else? All right. Thank you, whoever that person was. First one is no operating rhythm. Anybody have an idea what I mean by that? Sorry, I'm trying to just make sure you guys are still with me because it's 6 o'clock. Anybody idea what no operating rhythm means? Systems? What else? Thank you. Pardon? Interruption. Well, we're hoping to avoid the interruption so we can actually get on with what we need to do. An operating rhythm actually is about the key things that you need to do to get the end results that you're actually after. Now, what tends to happen when we have no operating rhythm is we do what shows up, what we prefer to do, and we're easily distracted. So, exactly. So, the first thing we need is an operating rhythm, not only for ourselves, but our key people and the tasks that make us money. And your job is to actually make sure that these rhythms get done. So you need to be like one of those, you know, the gridiron teams, where there's all these people just clearing all the other people out of the way so that the runner can actually get the ball. Well, that's what it looks like to me anyway. The runner's trying to get the ball to the other end. Your job is to do that defence so that the people that are doing these key jobs actually get them done. Like, for example, your admin team, maybe your marketing team, who need to make calls to actually get you appointments. And yet what they get buried under is minutiae, your admin. Rubbish that really you could probably not get done or do yourself. Questions that probably you could answer yourself. So, get some operating rhythms in place and help your people actually implement them and get them done. The next one, technology. Technology actually is there to help us. But what I find is most people are scared of it a little bit. You know, they don't quite know what to do. They don't want to break anything. They definitely don't want to lose anything. They think that that if they learn something new, they're going to be, you know, they're going to lose time. So it's just easier to do it the old way. Does anybody know anybody like that? Let me ask you actually, does everybody have an email system? I mean, this is a stupid question. Everybody have an email system and a calendar system, yes? Yeah? So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 being I'm an expert at using that system, and 1 being I've got no clue, I just switch it on. Show of hands for 5. Okay, we've got about 3 or 4 people. Show of hands for 4. Show of hands for 3. Show of hands for 2. Show of hands for 1. And everybody else couldn't care less. All right. Most people are around the 2 to 3. They know how to switch it on, they know how to do a couple of things, but they really don't know the powerhouse that they've got at their fingertips. And this is one of the things I actually show people how to use, what they've got at their fingertips, rather than getting more and more new tools, new applications, which they've already got, but they didn't know it actually was there, and having to learn more and more things, get into more and more applications, stealing more and more time. So what have you got at your fingertips? When you get new technology and new tools, new applications, do you actually show your people how to use it? And if you do that for long enough so that they actually continue using it until they know how to use it well? That they've shared how to use it with each other, that they've ironed out any issues, because what tends to happen is, you know, the people who were there when the system was implemented get some training and everybody else has to learn by osmosis. So, a telltale sign is if your people have got a mobile, a laptop and a desktop, and they pull out a piece of paper each time they go to speak to somebody, you know there's a problem. If somebody's pulling out a piece of paper each time they go to speak with a client, your business is at risk. How do you think? Why? Why do you think it's at risk? How so? Could be out of date. They could be filling stuff that they don't need to, or getting the wrong info. What else? That's right. It's a double up already. So there's they're having to complete it in again. So there's risk of errors. There's risk of loss. There's a risk of no follow-up, not getting to it at all. there's a risk of losing that contact. And the money, as we all know, is in the follow-up. So, if you're going to get new systems, make sure your people know how to use them and they're leveraging what they've got. Not everything that pings needs attention, but most people actually don't know how to switch the notifications off or the alerts off, and they're so simple. And actually, as I said, these things are there to actually help us get work done. Productivity killer number 3, too many goals and targets. So what I find is that most people have got so many goals and targets that everything gets done part-time. And that most people actually don't know how to drive those goals forward in amongst business as usual. So they get left and left until they die a silent death. And with this particular investigation or report, what they found is the respondents with less goals actually got the best results. So having fewer goals, so people actually knew why they were there, what they were supposed to be doing. It was clear. And then they could actually take the right actions, rather than, again, getting distracted, doing things that they found easiest because they just are overwhelmed and they don't know where to start. And they're not making progress on anything, not making big steps quick enough. So when I work with people, they're very good at making plans. In fact, they use a lot of sophisticated tools to spit out a Gantt chart. But if the person on the floor actually doing that work doesn't do something every single day to move them in the direction of getting that goal finished or that project finished, then the whole plan is for nothing. And what I find is that most people use a variety of systems to remind themselves of what they need to do. And you ever think about what you use? Does anybody use flags? Flag their emails, yeah? Does anybody use a Post-it note? Yeah? Does anybody use a calendar? Yeah? Anybody use a phone to remind themselves? Anybody print an email out? Yeah? Anybody use a spreadsheet? Yeah? A whiteboard? On average, people use 7 reminder systems, and then they use their brain on top of everything because they can't remember what they've got where. So there's double ups, there's things that are missed. And when you work like that, it's like playing a chess game in your head. It's really hard to actually decide, well, what do I do first? Learn how to use one system. You've got an amazing system at your fingertips. It's your electronic calendars. Learn how to use it well, and use it for more than just appointments with other people. No downtime, massive productivity killer. The Hewitt report found that 50% of us are not engaged in our work, and that's due to fatigue and burnout. So in many of the businesses I work with, if you work weekends, if you take work home, you're seen as a great employee. For me, that's a red flag. I'm thinking, well, why are they having to work out of hours so much? What's going wrong? But that's seen as a badge of honour. So if you're the boss and you're doing that, what sort of example are you giving to your people? And when you're actually just working longer and harder, you're extending your business hours beyond a normal day, what do you think, what that actually does is it smothers problems. Why do you think that? Why do you think it smothers problems? No time to reflect, yes. Why else? Any other ideas? Yeah, so you can't think properly, you can't solve properly. Yeah, we're rushed, we're eating on the run. We don't have time to actually decompress from all the things that are actually coming at us. But when we actually go outside of our business hours, there's no opportunity to actually make improvements because we're smothering it. We can't see where we actually even need to make improvements. When we're forced, or when we try to force ourselves to work within hours, we actually get our best work done first, rather than everything else, and then we try to do what's most important. So, there are 7 signs of illness, burnout, and this is what happens when we work longer. We just pay in another way. We pay through errors, we pay through unexpected, unplanned leave, mistakes. So what sort of example are you setting? Are you working longer and longer? Is this something that you actually need to reflect on and see, how can I do things differently? And number 5, your environment. Your actual office has things in it to help you reduce distractions and help you focus on what you actually need to do. So things like the common deep drawer. Does anybody have a deep drawer underneath their desk? Yeah? So that deep drawer is not for rice crackers, tea, sneakers. It is actually for things that you're working on that you want to keep close at hand. It's actually an important piece of the office environment. But most people have all sorts of things in there. Most people sort of work in this sort of environment. And this is almost, I see this often. Yeah. She's a good friend now, actually. So this is what I see often. But I can try to walk into an office where the only way I can actually walk in is like this. And I'll never forget working with a law firm, and I walked in and he had stuff everywhere. But as I was leaving, he was laughing and asked, "Why are you laughing?" And he goes, "You think I was bad? Wait till you get next door." So, many people have never been shown how to work. How were you taught how to work? Pardon? Self-taught, yes? Anybody else? Any ideas? Trial and error? Observations, yeah? Many of us were taught by people who have never worked in this sort of environment before. They worked in an environment where mail came in once a day. Not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're being bombarded, and we've got to have ways, we've got to know how to operate and actually have our tools help us so we can focus on what we need to do so that we're not buried by what's going on. So there's a statistic that says 80% of people have never been shown how to work. We're very good at what we do, but we've never been to a formal how to work program. So here's your opportunity to go to a formal how to work program. It's not sexy, but things that are simple and very effective usually aren't. What would an extra 200 hours a day do for you? 200 hours a day. I wouldn't want to be living there. 200 hours a year do for you. What could you turn that into? What could that translate to? On the 29th of November, I'm running a last program. It's a public program called the Secret Essentials, Secret Time Management Essentials. People who do this program are usually people who need time. They need time to be able to do more marketing. They need time to be able to improve their business. They need time to do the work that they've actually got to do. They need time to be with their family. They need time to rest. It's also people who need to reduce distractions, interruptions, procrastination, reactivity, big one, reactivity. It's also people who want to improve how they delegate so that if they give something to someone, they can actually be sure it's done without having to micromanage that person or find out at the very last second they haven't actually even started. If you need time, I really recommend that whatever you've got on the 29th, you clear your calendar and you get to that event. If by morning tea you think it's been a total waste of time, I will give you your money back because I know it can actually change your life. The simplest things are usually the things that are overlooked for some new gadget, new technology, and it's usually the simplest things that actually help us focus and get the results. Everything in your office has a purpose. What I do is I show people how to use those things so they can get their jobs done. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope to see you on the 29th. Oh, one other thing. Anybody who registers tonight will get a free copy of my book, which is The Secrets to Mastering Time. So hope to see you on the 29th. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. And just to let you know that of all the speakers, she finished exactly on the amount of allocated time. So, very good. Yeah. This is the giveaway for the seminar.
It's Jacqueline Brown.
Jacqueline Brown. Congratulations. Another one of our sponsors we just want to thank is Fleur from Out of the Box. If you're seeking a business community to support and connect with, please look at Out of the Box. They look for the out-of-the-box thinkers, and they're a great community to help connect and grow your network.
And the second book goes to Calvin Kirk.
Calvin Kirk. Awina.
Congratulations.